right, so welcome to another exciting episode of the Day podcast. This is the first ever edition. On this podcast, we give you news making waves across some online portals right here in the country. My name is the General. Subscribe to this channel, Nine Digital. Like, you comment, and you share. So your friends can also be part of this great community. So make sure you do not leave yourself out of this conversation. Get your comments running in the comment section below. So like I said, we are rocked on myjoyonline.com where we give you news making the headlines across that page. So we move on straight to myjoyonline.com to read you news making waves across the internet. So moving straight, I'll just urge you all to have time, listen attentively, and know what exactly is going on in the country. This is the Day podcast with me, Young Jackson. I'll call you the General. Alright, so we are moving straight to the podcast. This is podcast with the General. So going straight to myjoyonline.com, I read Afrobeat gets a place on America Music Awards. Being in jail feels like vacation. That's from Shatawale. Let's read. Alright, so being in jail feels like vacation. Shatawale. That dancehall artist Shatawale has said that he felt at home when he was arrested and put in jail. According to him, contrary to some people's assumption, he was not humbled by the experience. The Shatta Movement president explained that the inmate did not treat him any differently from how his fans have always done. Speaking on the Replay Show Base 360, he stated that the inmates were eager to see him, and some went as far as serving him. When I went to jail, I actually felt like I was at home because people have been in there for 30 years and they've never seen Shatawale. So as they saw me, they fetched water for me. Some brought me food, mostly from their visitors, just like the way people see me on the streets and kneel down. It was the same way in the jailhouse, he revealed. He added that it wasn't like they took me there to suffer. It was like a vacation. Didn't really humble me. That is from Shatawale. So Shatawale was arrested and remanded for 7 days following a Hawks shooting incident that he instigated after one Bishop Stephen Akwesi prophesied that the singer would die the same way South African reggae legend Lucky Dube passed. He was later convicted by an Accra High Court after he pleaded guilty to the publication of false news. The court, presided over by his Worship Emmanuel Isando, delivered a non-custodial sentence that fined the musician an amount of 2,000 Ghana cedis. 2,000 Ghana cedis. So Shatta is out there to say that he was not humbled by his conviction by the Ghana Police Service. Okay, if you see yourself as Shatawale being arrested and you find it fortunate for people to serve you and you feel that this does not humble you, a time will come, let's say a time will come that you would not be in this same position. A time will come that you will no longer be in the position of being one of our top artists, and there we will see if you will be humbled by going to jail or not. So let's move on to other stories. Moving on to other stories. Moving on to other stories. Shatawale once again says give Mahama one more chance. That's all. Like Shatawale dreams of the second coming of the fourth term. He's advocating for ex-president Mahama to be voted into power once again. He shared this thought on Showbiz A to Z last Saturday on Your FM. Shatawale told George, we have to give Mahama one more chance. The dancehall heavyweight defended his reason. And I quote, when Mahama was in power, he was doing everything for every youth to survive. I was getting opportunities from the presidency. He elaborated. Well, there's a video here to back the post. So the Mahama paper hitmaker revealed that many other musicians, including VIP, were involved with the previous government in its project that impacted society positively. I was doing a back-to-school project and I spoke to one of them in the previous government before I realized they were supporting the project. Shatawale underscored. Critics might argue that Shatawale's opinion is biased. However, he maintains that even if the Akufo-led government has engaged present-day artists, the aftermath of those interventions have not made the news. He believes that the creative arts industry stands a better chance with ex-president Mahama in power. Shatawale also took the opportunity to talk about his long-awaited Gift of God album. The yet-to-be-released body of work, which has been promoted for the last 3 years, had its cover art released last week. It was followed by the release of its first single titled Cash Out Few Hours to Its Birthday. According to Shatta, when the album comes, everyone should embrace it. Now there are some few videos here that I just want us to watch, and coming from Shatawale, this interview on Showbiz A to Z Church.
You know me, Mama is my dad, so any which way.
So you don't make it come back.
Oh no, the way people talk, I need to give Mama one more chance again.
So Mama for come.
Hey, for come.
Blog a headline. Mama come back.
Hey, Sally can put me on the spot. No, because you see, I can say something. Maybe let me just deviate from Shaq a bit. Was doing everything for every youth. So I was getting opportunities from the presidency. For instance, like the chief of staff, Julius Deborah, was always giving me stuff, as an artist. He respected me as an artist. I believe he wasn't only dealing with me, he was dealing with VIP, a whole lot of artists, and they get that for this current government inside. It's like
maybe other musicians are getting, but not you.
I would say maybe other musicians are getting, but we know they see them.
Well, you have a point.
Yeah, Sammy.
Yeah,
we give more opportunity to the people.
Yeah, you understand me? So basically, sometimes if I just look at that side of, wanna life to say, Charlie,
you've messed up this day.
Like, let me just put it straight. Like, I was doing a back to school project.
Yeah.
Which was my project. Anytime I go to like villages, schools, I give exercise books, stationaries, and stuff like that. And I spoke to, one of them in government, and they
passed all this one.
Passed. Okay. And they took me to one office to the other, and before we realized, like, they were supporting the project.
Alright, so moving straight to accounts, inflation in Ghana is more domestic driven. That is from the IMF. Inflation in Ghana is more domestic driven from IMF. So the International Monetary Fund has attributed the high inflation in Ghana to more of domestic factors. This dismisses the argument that inflation in the country is due to external factors such as the Russian-Ukraine crisis, which has pushed prices of some foodstuffs, particularly wheat and cereals, up. In a press conference at the recent IMF World Bank Spring Meetings, African Director at the fund, Abebe Selassie, said its analysis showed that inflation is driven more by domestic factors than exogenous factors. On inflation, I mean, again, there are always trade-offs when you are doing policy calculation. And so, in our regional economic outlook, we are very careful to flag that there are some countries where inflation has clearly been driven more by domestic factors than exogenous factors. I think Ghana would fall in that camp. But there are also quite a lot of other countries where the inflation we are seeing is more imported inflation. So the scope and the space of the ability of monetary policy to address that is limited. So again, it depends on country specific circumstances and on time. All right. So Mr. Bebe also said the calibration of monetary policy must be always agile. This is because the conditions affect inflation are always changing. Adding exchange rates are moving, commodity prices are moving. So it's an area where calibration might be very looked at again and again and again as the months proceed. That's why central bank can say you have to be forward-looking, data-driven. So our advice is also very much subject to those considerations. Inflation surges to 37.2% in September 2022. Inflation in Ghana shot by 3.3% to 37.2% in September 2022. That's a huge figure. According to the GSS, that's the Ghana Statistical Service, 5 groups reported inflation rates higher than the national average in September. They were housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, furnishings, household equipment, and routine household maintenances, transport, personal care, social protection, and miscellaneous goods and services, as well as food and non-alcoholic beverages. Wow. 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 So we just not very, very fine as the country is not in a good shape. Yeah.
Louisa.
All right. But then there's also an important message that I want to share with Ghanaians. We all want this country developed. And the development of this country lies solely on we, the Ghanaians, especially the youth. So we must do everything in our power to make sure that the country is best and safe for us all. We shouldn't even think of ourselves now. We should think of the future generation. By so doing, thinking of the future generation safeguards our normal day-to-day activities present day. So I will plead with all Ghanaians, especially the youth, to take it in focus, have it in mind, have it as an agenda to try and promote socio-economic development right here in the country. Well, so today I've taken it upon myself just to advise, make it known that we can only make the country and not anyone else. These leaders are of their own generation and they can't try to impact or impose their generation on us. We need to create an environment sustainable for us and also create an environment sustainable for the future generation. This is the only way we can develop our country. Podcast, the daily podcast on 9 Digital. My name is the General. Enjoy some good music. I'll be right back. break. This is the Day Podcast right here on the channel 9 Digital. Subscribe. I just want the screens. The screens are telling you to subscribe. We have more programming out there. If you want to sponsor our programming, just contact 0594 116732 0594 116732. So you can also donate so we can get the better equipment for this initiative, the Day Podcast. Looking forward to impact the youth so we can all develop our country, Ghana. This is why I end the podcast, the Day Podcast. My name is Youngson. Subscribe to the channel right now.